That was such a harsh cut. What happened to my fade? Oh my God. Just start the whole thing over. Oh man. I'm so embarrassed. Hello, everybody. It's me, it's Laughingboy. I'm here with Patricia
Summersett.
Summersett. Did I get it right?
Sure.
That's how you told me to say it.
What language you want to say it in? Yeah.
Patricia
Patricia.
Summersett.
Patricia. Yeah, Patricia. Patricia.
Patricia. Hi, Patricia.
Oh, hi. Hi, Laughingboy Andrew.
How's the weather?
I don't know what I'm supposed to call you.
You can call me either of those two things.
Can I call you both at the same? Why am I even asking that? Of course I can. I can do what I want to do.
Yeah. No, I'm the one who's basically like, oh my God, thank God for being here. You can do whatever you want within reason, apparently.
Within reason, which I think that's an important thing to add to any.
Within the boundaries of the law.
Right.
Yeah. Hello, everybody in chat. We are going to do our Q&A session. We're going to have I'm not going to be as relaxed as I have been on the other one. We gotta go. We gotta make it snappy, but we're gonna ask our guests some questions that you yourself asked me to ask Patricia. So we're gonna go down the line and we'll do that for about 20-ish minutes or something like that. Then we'll take a little bit of a break and then we'll get started with the podcast proper. Thank you for being such a good sport. Laughing
Andrew. Me right now? Okay. No,
everyone.
The other people. Everyone.
How's the weather over there?
With the small talk, we got questions. No.
We have moderate talk, medium talk to do. I think I want to start with, there was this one from Kyle the Pug. If Zelda had her own cooking show on the Food Network, what would the show be called and what would she make?
Wow. If she had her own cooking show, it's so funny because I've actually run into so many really lovely Hyrule cookbooks that people make, and I see those at conventions. So it's hard to think of topping any of that, really. But considering that I really enjoy apples, and probably the most sophisticated I get is spicy meat when I'm cooking. I'm going to keep something fairly basic. Let's go Zelda's. Let's see. I'm going to try to be too clever. It's not going to work. I'm going to think of this afterwards, and at 2 a.m. I'm going to be like, that's it.
I should have said that. Oh my God. You look, 2 peas in a pod.
No.
I'm going to grade everything I just did over the last hour for the next week and a half. Just letting you know.
It's going to be Zelda's wholesome, spicy apple baking extravaganza. That's going to be the name of the cookbook. And it will be, and then the subtitle will be Cook with Power, Wisdom, and Courage. But especially wisdom.
But yeah, it just it keeps going. You just have multiple subtitles. But especially wisdom, a little less power.
And in every single recipe, there will be a teaspoon of wisdom. That would be my flavor sort of add-on.
I do like that.
For the cookbook. Yeah.
Just a little teaspoon of wisdom. The secret ingredient is love and wisdom.
Yes. And wisdom.
Mostly wisdom. Josh is a fan of spicy meats. Look at you. Look at everybody.
I can't see anybody, so I don't
you can't.
know.
I didn't send you the chat. Oh my God, I'm such a
loser.
No,
you did. You did, and I didn't open it.
Oh, okay. Patricia.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's all right. Most of the people I interview are content creators. They don't even know what YouTube is.
Oh boy. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to skip this. There we are. No. Okay. I can see. Well, that's distracting. I don't want to look at myself anyway.
So I
What am I
can
supposed to do
I
with that?
pop chat out and I just leave that as a separate window and I don't have to. Well, actually, no. I have myself on like 3 different screens. This is my nightmare. So
Thank you. Thank you for mirroring back my own little nightmare. Okay, I'm gonna go back to that. It's there if I wanna look at it and no
that's
matter
right.
how strange it all is in a delay. It's a little bit like, you know those dubbing projects that are, or like the old movies where the dubbing doesn't match the
Yeah.
translation, like, "I want to kill your father." You know,
Yeah.
it's like that's what it looks like watching the podcast back. I'm just saying.
Look, they
So
were balling on a budget back then, and they didn't care. Just get the thing out.
yeah.
But I like that idea. Cookbook, meats, spiced apples. Um, Mary Wants a Cookie asks, what's a series or franchise, can be games, movies, or books, that is on your dream list to be part of?
People ask me that, and I'm always sort of I mean, if it were in video games, there are so many wonderful indie companies that are coming up. I mean, I would also love to work with, like, Larian Studios or anything that my friends that have done sort of Baldur's Gate and Clair Obscur have done.
Mm,
These, incredible, just huge world games. But I also am, like, just happy to work on new IPs. I've got a couple in the works right now, and I hope they get to be announced soon. So one of them is a really interesting it's got a lot of new writing in it, and part of me just thinks, like, to be working with cool people in a room is sort of what I'm into, these days, but, I mean, I would literally I would take anything. I'm a work fiend, so I just
oh,
have to be working. Yeah. I was gonna use
oh.
different words, but that they weren't appropriate.
I mean, we. I can't wait to dissect that during the podcast.
Yeah. I guess maybe fiend is I'm a work beast. How's
Work
that?
beast.
Yeah. Who just
That's.
wants to work.
I mean, I think like when you can do something that is just something that you would at least. I don't really like the phrase, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, because you still
That's just
do.
not true.
That's
It's
just
just
not
not
true.
true at all.
But at least it's more like, well, at least I like doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think if you have a sense of purpose, you're
mm,
you're pretty good. But really, so much of the project even less than the franchise, depends so much on the group that you're working with. And I suppose if you work with big franchises, like I've done, Star Trek and Star Wars, I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. Those things are iconic too. You're gonna inevitably work with pretty interesting people.
yeah.
So maybe they do go hand in hand.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
never work a day in your life, they say.
Never.
Allegan Stuff asks, as an actor, what's a performance from another actor that has stuck with you over the years?
Oh boy, so many. So many. I think of, anything Andy Serkis has done whenever I'm, aspiring to do anything performance capture that's new. I'd love to do more creature stuff, and that kind of animal creature work. So, first off, I just think, "Oh my gosh, Andy Serkis,"
Yeah.
through and through, a variety of times over. But it's hard to I mean, I'm just trying to think of what I've seen recently. Through the years, I mean, some of my I love that my microphone just decided to, like, sink down out of nowhere, like, it just was like, "Okay, I'm going now." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, "Come on, buddy. What you doing? I love you.
You
Don't
don't have
quit
to be
me."
like this.
Yeah.
Not
Although
like
actually maybe
this.
that's yeah, "Don't be like this.
Oh, no.
Don't be like this."
Don't be like, not like this.
I'm so sorry, Steve. Oh,
I'm
poor guy.
I'm feeling a little
Yeah.
down.
Are we a little Eeyore today?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
Um,
just a little slopey.
a little
Get that,
slopey.
get that
Just
boom out
get
of the shot.
go yeah, get the Here, we're gonna just do this. We're gonna go like that.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, because I actually, if I touch that thing, it might fall further, so I don't really know what to I don't wanna quit right now. Uh, some of my oldest works, I just think of how influential things like, the old movies from the '80s have been too, like Labyrinth, just what creators have done at that time.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly, back in the day. But I like all the actors. I just spent a lot of time talking with my partner about One Battle After Another and the incredible performances in just across the board in that
Yeah.
particular film of Paul Thomas Anderson. And just you could watch that, and it's a master class in character building that you could apply to any kind of acting. So, those are ones that come off mind, but yeah, I'd say probably for the sake of this, Andy Serkis comes up first right now in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely remember, or his role as doing the motion capture for like Gollum and the voice, but
Yeah,
also like I think about when he even got into games with like Heavenly Sword and
yeah.
Journey to the or Enslaved, Journey to the East. I forget if it's East or West. Um,
Ooh, oh boy.
but I mean, did the mocap for those roles as well, and just like and the voice acting again. It's just like if you want if you want an animal, you get Andy
Yeah,
Serkis.
yeah. Um, as well, Jennifer Hale, for example,
Yeah.
I know I started studying a lot of what she did when I was first kind of gearing towards game performance because she's just so prolific, and she also has a low velvety voice, and so she's a great reference for me personally to just study in terms of, like, what you can actually do with your voice to portray the emotion that, you otherwise might be doing on screen or doing performance capture, but just voice, yeah, she's another one of those, like it's crazy you get to meet these people and you're like, "They're so incredible." Anyway, yeah, she's one of those, so
I know that feeling right now.
Oh,
Aw.
oh,
Aw.
laughing
Uh,
Andrew. Yeah. Look at that, and that's what and then you laugh. That's perfect.
Thank God it's funny.
Well, it is for us.
Or I be crying, boy, LP.
Uh,
Celestin asks, "What's your favorite beverage?"
Hard toss up between, like I mean, I'm a big coffee drinker, and when I like coffee, which I drink all day in the mornings and as much as I can, it'd be like a flat white. That's what I
Ooh,
like.
that's a
I
good
enjoy
one.
flat white, but a real one. So 6 to 8 ounces with whole milk, um, cortado shot, or like short shots. That's what I drink. But I like to drink a lot of things. I like a good matcha.
Oh
I
yeah.
like a nice glass of really incredible wine. But in terms of just what can like get me through the day every day, you gotta start with a good coffee. Pretty typical answer, but it's very important
It is incredibly
for
important. It's how I stay. That's how I survive most of my streams.
Mm.
Um, Alec and stuff also asked, "Do you have any pre-recording rituals that you rely on before you step into the booth?"
Yes, I do, and it's gonna depend on the type of project and where I'm doing that project and stuff, but I'm usually gonna do some form of vocal warm-ups, especially if it's gonna be a game or if I don't know what range I'm gonna be working in, I have to sort of exercise the whole range. So I'll do things like sirens, you kinda go up and down your range, and these days, I'm getting more interested in because 'cause I've been doing some Estel training, more interested in not putting too much pressure on the voice and worrying about vocal fatigue, so just how much oxygen you're putting through, like, the least amount of tension you can put through your voice while warming it up properly. So instead of
Hmm.
pushing air, you're worried about the musculature more. So I do some version of that, where you might do, the sirens, as I said, lip trills, a little bit of, like, humming around the face, and then going from thick to thin fold is another good exercise that I've been doing, which is, like, where you have, like, 3 kinds of folds. You do this I'd be speaking in thick fold. If I was speaking in thin fold, it would be up here, basically. And then this would be like a stiff fold. So you sort of move through all of them. You go, "Ooh," and that weird exercise of going through all those on a really small level can warm up your voice, like, really well.
Hmm.
Supposedly, for whatever reason, that's just one of those strange little tricks. So
I mean, now I'm intrigued just because like I've been having vocal fatigue a lot.
Mm,
When you like do a podcast and then stream like for 4 hours
yeah.
a day, it
Oh my
it wears
gosh.
you out. And
Yeah.
I'm not young. Uh, it my voice will die eventually.
Yeah, mine will
Um,
too. Mine will too.
so but no, you don't have to worry about
I
that.
just got my voice back yesterday, by the way. I was sick last week and it was gone, and so I'm really excited. I'm like, "Hello, voice." But I do need to be careful with vocal fatigue now, especially when you're doing certain kinds of things where you're shouting. I don't have the same stamina I did when I was, like, 20, and it now you really need to sort of it's really great that they've done a lot of regulations with that because your vocal cords they're so sensitive, they're so fragile, and
Yeah.
people yeah, I mean, and it just, it gets more and more fragile as you go, so you can do more and you need to be efficient, and then you need to rest. It's just the truth.
So all the things I refuse to do. Got it. Cool.
There
All
we
right.
are. That's
Yeah.
that's
All
probably
right.
why.
That's great advice. All right. Whatever. um, Mlatpren asks, what was the funniest outtake that you have made or witnessed during a recording session?
Oh, man. The funniest outtake. I've had some weird ones. It's so funny, I don't hold on to them. I mean, like, again, there are a lot of burps and inner, stomach fart sounds that are gonna happen
Hmm.
when you are recording, and sometimes those things are very, very odd, and they come up in, like, the most inopportune time, like you're, doing a serious line, like, "Tell me, mother." And then you have to, like, hold, and then it's like that kind of thing, but you don't wanna be too embarrassed by it, you let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Because I've been asked to do, like, a lot of burping, and maybe not all of it got used, but, there's just a lot of funny things like that that you were listening to, so that comes to mind, like, just sort of excessive burping. Yeah.
Stuff that, I mean, look, if you can do that on command,
It's hard. I mean, like, yeah, I'm trying to think about, like, I would have to swallow the air to like,
yeah.
some people can make the fake belch.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
There we
That would
go.
have one, but yeah, anyway,
Oh,
that's
was
my
that a
guess.
real one?
Yeah, that was a real
Good for you.
Thank you.
Acting.
But a little bit of it yeah, a little bit of it's now in my stomach, so thank you guys for
You're
your
welcome.
patience if it comes back up.
I'm doing the best. Look, I am so good to my guests. Everyone says. Everyone. Um,
You've
Nintendo
got the voice of
fangirl.
Zelda burping in your yeah, in your
That
podcast.
and look, out of context stuff is all the rage these days.
Don't I know it? Don't we not? Uh,
All right. I think one more question, maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll call it.
sure. I'll try to speed round it a little bit so we can actually get through their questions. Sorry, guys.
Oh no, you're good. You're
Take
good.
your sweet time.
I like the talking. I like it. This is my show, so it's okay.
You keep telling yourself that. You keep just kidding. Can you imagine? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Just giving you the 10-yard stare. Um,
Yeah, no, I saw it. It's petrifying.
acting. Um,
Oh.
Nintendo fangirl asks, do you prefer playing more drama or action-oriented characters?
Ooh, I like when there's a combo of both, for sure. When I think of things like Ash from Rainbow Six, that would be a more action-oriented character, one of my favorite roles of all time. Um, and actually on that note, Rainbow Six Mobile has just come out today worldwide,
Yeah.
but this is like 10 years of a character, but what's so great about that action character is that eventually it moved into kind of dramatic cinematics,
Hmm.
and that ends up being the better part. So probably drama. It's hard to say though because usually you get a combo of both. Like Zelda's obviously drama, but you do get action in there too. If you get a hack and slash game, you get to do a lot of that kind of technical work too. But yeah, where the heart of it is, why I'm an actor is gonna be the drama for sure.
Yeah. Well, and, voice, stage,
Mhm.
TV, kind of done like
Yeah.
kind of everything there. So, and
Yes.
I was kind of thinking along the lines of that too, because I know you've done a bunch of different roles in a bunch of different genres, especially in games. But I have noticed, well, and especially because I think like when we were originally corresponding with each other, you were doing that Rainbow Six like announcement with introducing Snake as DLC.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Solid Snake all the way.
And then I was kind of like, well, this
Oh.
is like I don't feel like enough people, Nintendo people aren't really playing Rainbow Six a lot, I guess, but like it is a role that I feel like you've had for almost as long, right? But it
10
gives you
years.
a little bit more
It's been
range
a
there.
full decade. It's actually a little bit longer than Zelda. It's like it happened around the same time because
Yeah.
I would've started recording that in 2015 and Zelda was 2016 and I started recording that. So they're
Heck
both
yeah.
like, a decade now. It's
Wow.
crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
And then let me see one more. Um, let's see. Tabby asks, as a longtime Zelda fan, if you could voice any other version of Princess Zelda, which one would you choose? How come and how do you think you would portray them?
Mm. Ooh. Twilight Princess. I think because she's a little more mature and kind of regal, like, I think she's in a similar sort of human-y vein. That's probably the one that I would choose, and I would probably do it relatively similar to what I did with this Zelda, because I think there would be a through line. She'd probably be a little more grounded, might have a different pace to her, I
Hmm.
would say. Um, but it's hard to know because I'd have to be in the moment developing it with the script at hand, and that would ultimately inform and the directors, and that would inform the voice. It would
Yeah.
definitely inform how the characterization came out, and why. I think because to me, she's probably a little more relatable to what I've already done with Zelda, and obviously I write in Twilight Princess Hylian as well, which so I already feel sort of connected to that
Yeah.
particular game a little more, and that would be yeah, make the most sense.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's a good answer. And I think
Mhm.
it gives you a little bit of that range too, I think, in terms of Zelda characters. I mean,
Mm,
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, I think you get a lot more Zelda in those games. Um, although I guess you could see, you could try doing the whole dichotomy of Sheik and Zelda with like Ocarina of Time too.
yeah, fair enough. That would be really interesting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
All
would be.
right. Well, thank you for taking the time to answer some Q&A. I'm sorry we didn't get to everything, but I want to make sure that we have some time for the podcast. We're going to take a
Thank you guys for your questions. I do
yeah.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys. Forest Mission chat says, I want to see you as Tetra/Wind Waker Zelda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Me too, that'd be fun. I would love any of it. Be awesome.
All right. We're going to take a quick break so that we can get set up for the podcast and that I can force you all to watch ads. Haha. And then as soon as the ads are over, which is always weird when it comes to YouTube, we'll start the podcast. Sound good, chat? Sound good, Patricia?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to press this ad button. We're going to go to break and then we're going to be right back with the podcast. So, I mean, like, get a snack maybe, but don't go anywhere. Keep the browser. You don't touch that X button. You leave it alone. You don't touch it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Good Luck, Have Fun. I almost said a completely different podcast name. I don't know why I would have done that anyway. Hi, I'm Laughingboy LP. I have I'm so honored to show you our guest. You want to see? Well, if you were watching this, you already know who it is. If you follow the podcast, you already know who it is. But for all of our audio listeners out there, wherever you are, hi, Patricia. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Uh, Voice actor, actor of stage, screen, and games, singer, voice of Zelda, Patricia Summersett. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Hello, Laughing
Hello.
Boy. Andrew. Can I call you both? I do. I wanna do that. I wanna keep doing that.
And
Sorry.
Andrew is my father's name. Call me laughing.
Okay.
Um, yeah. How you doing? It's time for small talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. We both don't wanna talk about the weather, so I don't know
I
what we're gonna start with.
don't even want to talk about the
Um,
weather right now because it's so bad at the moment.
yeah, fair enough, which is why we're doing this kind of thing. It's far
Hmm.
more entertaining than thinking about the weather,
In the
so
comfort of my own home,
Yeah.
I have the
Wherever that is.
shades down, so I don't even have to look outside. Why bother? Just stay
Yeah.
here. Listen to podcasts,
Oh. I don't
specifically
mind
mine.
looking out the back of this place. Last night I saw a fox, so that was cool.
Yeah,
A wild fox.
that reminds me, I need to make sure that my dog's shots are in order. Um, at least you didn't get another foot of snow. Yeah, we got a lot of we just got a lot of mashed potatoes on the ground. It was very goopy. It was not great. Not a good time. I don't recommend it. Anyway, this is our very first episode 9 of our podcast. Good luck, have fun. Where we've taken the best parts of my other 2 podcasts and I've smashed them all together to make a more fun, casual, and informative conversation about our lives and how we celebrate our love of video games through our art. I used to say through content creation, but this is a big deal for me. I'm not to say that it was not fun talking to other content creators, but
Art?
art.
Yeah, there's some degree of content creation going on. It can be both.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it doesn't have to be all or none. It can be both.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Cool. Thank you.
Donde no los dos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome. We've exchanged our pleasantries, so you can check that off. All right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need like a little, there we
Yeah.
go. Cool.
Do the Queen's wave.
Mm.
I learned that this is so that your wrists don't get tired, and I find that to be the biggest lie because this hurts right now.
Yeah, that's weird. This seems like something you might do in the morning to warm up, and stretch your muscles and do a whole. Yeah, this feels like a workout.
I
far more
guess
than
this
that.
works longer than this, but like this feels better. But I guess like
Yeah.
if you're royalty and you're just waving like, "Hi!"
Yeah. It probably has something to do with keeping your I don't know, being able to.
I mean, it just looks like you're trying to get signal, really.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh yeah.
That's
Oh,
great. It's
now
cool.
I remember. I'm the queen.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there is my antenna for royalty. Thank you.
Ah, yes. Beep 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 beep.
Beep 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 beep. Oh,
Hey.
there it is.
Oh
It's
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. It's me. I got it. I remember now.
Let me show you my royalty. Yeah.
Ah, yes. I'm so sorry, guys. This is the entirety of the podcast. It's just going to be us talking about how to get a signal in real life when we're all so pumped full of 5G anyway. I'm not surprised I don't have a signal already.
Fair enough.
I should be a Wi-Fi hotspot at this point.
How do you know you're not?
I can tell you I'm not because my iPad does not connect to me. So that's how I know. Yeah. That comes later. So, but hey, so we're gonna talk a little bit about your career. We're gonna talk a little bit about. I mean, you're part of a band. You've done ice skating, which is incredibly relevant this week.
It certainly is. I also know the people who, I used to compete and train with some of the people who you've been seeing on the TV.
What?
So yeah, I've had a very nice time watching that this last week. It's been really cool.
I had no idea.
Yeah, well, you brought it up, so we'll go there.
I did just enough research to kind of be like, I know the base level, but like this is a way for me to get to know people and just chat a little bit, and then that way, if I see you at a convention, I'll be like, hey, and then you'll be like,
I'd be like, hey, what's cry boy?
I'm the one with the purple hair.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. I remember you. Yeah. Who?
Purple crier.
Yeah. I'm very well known for crying. Trust me.
Me too.
Ah.
Hence the tears.
Oh, that's what Tears of the Kingdom was?
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of different references. It's a very large metaphor. Art.
Art. Oh, yeah. I remember now. Yeah. Try calling him Cryboy from now on. Do not. I would rather the Frankenstein's monster of Landry Boy LP Roo.
Okay. Could that be on the backside? Can I dedicate my cookbook to that name? because we've already created this
I'll
review.
write the review.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be your back of the box.
It sounds like a chocolate. You know, the way that it all mixes together, it might be a really delicious dessert.
If you write it in cursive, no one will even know it's a word.
It's like when I write Hylian and nobody knows if I'm messing things up. It's true. And occasionally, if I'm talking to somebody while I'm doing that, I do start to write what I'm saying, you know, when you're tired and you're like, "La, la, la, oh no," you know, and you just hope it's not a pop. You hope it's not an Android. And yeah, anyway. And, or you can
There's
make a joke of it and get it
there's
really
there's so
amusing.
many things that are very interesting about that because like if I had signed something from you and it's like your Starbucks order
Yeah.
in Hylian.
Mhm.
That was the thing I really didn't know about you until we met at Zeldathon was that you you can write in Hylian.
Twilight Princess Hylian only, which is, let's be fair, the easiest one.
Says you. I don't
Well,
know how to do that.
it's calligraphy, you know, it's
Ah,
it's it's glorified calligraphy, but it's very beautiful.
yeah. What made you want to do that?
Because I'm an earnest, anxious actor, and I wanted to find ways to no, when I was recording the first game, the first trailers, and I was looking through the Hyrule Historia, I was kinda looking for other things, like ways to flesh out the character, looking for clues. Because you're going by a script, but you know it's got all this lore behind it, and I was just looking at the different kinds of Hylian, and I thought, "Gosh, I wonder," you know, it's so cool to be working on a franchise like these other franchises, Star Trek, Star Wars, these fictitious languages, so many of them have, you know,
Yeah.
Dothraki, you get a chance to work in a fictitious language. It's kinda rare, and I've done it a few times, and I'm like, "This would be so cool if I could learn some Hylian." It would also make for a really nice connection point when I'm meeting fans and things, because obviously those things then you can make a really special signature.
Hmm.
So, I've no regrets. I just started doing the Hylian alphabet over coffee, and, eventually it you know, it's relatively easy now. I forget a couple sort of figures here and there if I haven't seen them in a while,
Hmm.
um, you know, and they're a little ugly, like, sometimes I can scroll, so even when I read back my own writing, I'm like, "What was I saying? What did I say?" But mostly, you know, my favorite thing is when people come up to me and they can read my Hylian because 'cause they've
Oh,
learned Hylian, and you're like, "Oh my gosh," like, that
those
happens occasionally.
nerds.
Yeah.
Oh
How
my
dare
God.
they?
Who would do that?
I don't even know.
I mean, you had to do it
Why?
for works. That's so different.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Anyway.
Didn't
No.
even ask me, but I did it for work.
Like the people
Oh, what
behind the
the
booth are
fuck?
like, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, they're like, "Good for you." Okay. Okay, eager beaver, you know.
eager be
Yeah.
Patricia, in quotations, eager beaver Somerset. That's the word
Let's
you should have
not.
used.
Let's not.
Ah, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
You say I'm not gonna show you what my shirt says, which I almost changed because I was like, "That just looks." Anyway, it doesn't say beaver on it, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It says something. You know, I will show you actually because it's kinda funny. It says Jug Mountain, and I'm like, as long as this isn't in the now that I've shown everybody. I
I
don't know
mean,
why
my
I
favorite
just
part
think it's a
about
red
that
shirt.
just now is that was mirrored. So the podcast, everyone on YouTube saw it mirrored. So we don't know what that said.
You don't know what it is, it's
No,
backwards.
no, it was so fast. Did you hear that, lawyers? We don't know what that is. You can't prove
It's in
that.
Hylian. You don't know what it is. Yeah.
I'm just now imagining you as like a tattoo artist, and everyone's just kind of like, it means beauty, and you just like
Yeah.
wrote anything, just like coffee.
Occasionally, I've written in Hylian, and people have had that tattooed on them, and then they'll come back and show me. So that's happened a few times, that's fun.
Oh, that's good.
It's, you know, it's squeaky, shady Hylian. It's my version of Hylian signatures and glyphs, which is a little less precise than what's in the book, but yeah.
Well, and also the thing too, it's just like you said, it's a really nice way to connect with the fans and
Totally.
also connect
Yeah,
with the character. It gives you a little bit
yeah.
more insight. That's really cool that you would even think to do that. And uh,
Oh,
speaking
man,
of
no regrets. Yeah.
no, that's what you write in Hylian.
No regrets?
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I've ever written that for anybody. Hmm. Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying, I
Or
have
are you
stuff to
saying it
sign.
okay, okay.
Plenty. Yeah. Oh, are you doing it now?
Let me just see if I can no.
Yeah. Actually, no, it would be even funnier if it was no regerts.
Oh, no, I can't. Okay.
Don't mess me up. I'm writing.
Or okay. You'd be able to tell the difference. You'd be able to see the okay, let's see if I can Gertz. Gertz. That's what happens to me sometimes when I'm just doing this and I'm chatting as I do it. There we are. It barely looks different. Let's see, can you yeah.
I actually flipped it now, so it actually should. Wow. I can't
But can you
read
see
that.
the
I can kind of see it.
yeah, you can almost read it when like, once you sort of get used to certain letters, you can kinda
Yeah, yeah.
because some of them are really similar to the alphabet. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
You just did that on the fly. You could have lied your pants off and I would have believed you. That's the thing.
Who says that that's real?
Damn, she's
Yeah.
good.
Oh.
You've done this podcast thing once or twice, haven't you? Look, let's talk a little bit about like the before times
Okay.
because, and I need to talk about this. I think I can talk about it without it being bad. Because I looked through your IMDb because as the podcaster, I'm allowed to be a creep. And the first role that I saw that you did was for Beowulf the video game.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about that video game, besides your voice acting, is I was working at GameStop at the time. And
Oh,
I
wow.
remember putting that game up like brand
Oh
new.
my
It had just come out.
gosh.
I put that
Okay.
game on the shelf. 1 week later, by the way, MSRP was $59.99. 1 week later, I get the price changes for the day. $20. I I never saw such a severe price cut in such a limited amount of time that I saw that, and it's still in. I have. It's one of the last things I'll remember before I die
That's
is
so
me putting
funny.
the sticker up, being like, "This is fucking hilarious."
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that game is, I mean, I think the gameplay was left a lot to be desired. Let's be real. But the reason I got to play or play the role of that game, it was my first AAA game. It wasn't my first game. The other stuff just hadn't been put on IMDb. I have no idea where it is, but
Hmm.
I'd started with a company called Gameloft, and I was doing
Oh
a bunch
yeah,
of different games
yeah.
back in the day, and I was working on one of my like perfecting a voice demo with a sound engineer, and it was from that sound engineer. He passed my demo without me realizing it to, I believe it was Simon Peacock, who was working for Ubisoft and other companies at the time as a voice director, and said, "Hey, they had been looking for a voice match for Angelina Jolie, enough so because she'd opted out of the game. She's just like, "I don't wanna do this video game." So they needed to find, like, a low, sultry voice that and they said, like, like an okay kinda Slavic accent, like, "Can you do that?" And I was like, "Sure, I can do that." I was like, "Please." And
Duh,
so
whatever
yeah.
you want.
Exactly, and I think even on my demo, it probably had a version of something that sounded similar enough, and obviously, we do have a similar vocal range, her and I, so I got to do that game, and I remember during the recording session, I was fairly new to games at that time still, and, it's like there were directors in France, and they were over here, and we had to do a lot of, like, strangling sounds and things that were, like, highly I was like and it sounded like I swear, I was like, "This sounds like porn." It's so funny. I was like, having an outer body experience, like, this is really amazing to do, but because she's so sensual and she's getting, like, choked and she's like, "Ugh," like, doing all these things, I was like, "Whoa, this is
Well, this is intense. I have to be right back.
Yeah, it was just wild.
I gotta take 5.
Uh, yeah. Yes, I'm sure I mean, if you listen to it's so I mean, obviously, the whole point of it is that she's kind of a sexual god, a sexual
Yeah,
monster,
yeah.
who's going to impregnate and lure and, a kind of siren character of of great proportion. But yeah, I was like, "I've made it. Oh my gosh, I got to do a voice that was supposed to be Angelina Jolie. This is, like, gonna set me up. This is so, so cool." And then, crickets.
And then I'm putting the
Yeah.
price tag on. I'm like,
Yeah,
eh.
exactly. Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. But I thought it was awesome. That was really awesome to do.
Well, and then so yeah, I was kind of like, I didn't want to say there's no way that's like your first role, but I
It
know that
wasn't,
you
but yeah, first
um
AAA game though. Yeah.
first AAA game, and then before then you were doing some stuff with Gameloft, and I think gamers understand Gameloft is yeah. But before that, you started with ice skating. Can we talk
Yeah.
about a little bit about that? Like, what was the inspiration to do that, and especially like now at a time like this when other people could be similarly inspired by watching the Winter Olympics. That
Oh,
is,
man, it's
if you're
so
listening to
inspiring.
this right now, it's happening still.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, didn't
and
they just had the
did
closing
they just have closing?
ceremony? I think they just did. Yeah. I think they had a very extravagant
I'm
closing
like
ceremony.
looking
Maybe,
this
like,
up.
yesterday? I don't remember. Yeah, anyway, it's
What?
but
No, it was
I'm
like
sure they're
right
still, like
now.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I can
And then
lie.
everybody leaves. They're like, "Oh, let's go," because that's
Oh, they did end on Sunday? Okay. That all right. Well, I've been busy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Also, you can record those things and watch them later, so it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Somebody could be listening to this in June.
Yeah, they could. It'd be a little late,
Yeah.
but,
And shame
no
on you.
judgment as well.
Oh, I'll judge.
We're like, "No judgment, shame on you."
Yeah.
No shame on you judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the figure skating was actually if I sort of go back to the beginning and say, "Why did I figure skate?" My mom, because I grew up in a very tiny town in rural Michigan, wasn't a lot going on, and I had 3 sisters, and we found that we could get onto the ice and have a really nice time, but there weren't a lot of resources other than hockey, which I also played too, but there was no figure skating place. You had to go up to the neighboring community, which was, like, basically an hour drive to get onto ice and stuff like that. So my mom helped create a community ice skating program, and from there, we had a lot more time for ice, and so did everybody else. It was this really wonderful thing that she did, that benefited a lot of local people. And then the figure skating was something that my family all pursued at one point, but then eventually after high school, I started to pursue it competitively, like, right out the gate. It was either going to be theater, which I didn't really know anything about at the time. I'd done a couple of theater productions in high school, but I didn't really have a way to sort of get into a school. I was just coming from maybe too small of an area, and I didn't know how to audition.
Mhm.
And then there was figure skating, which I knew better, which actually I'd had a certain degree of sophistication at by that point. So I found a partner, moved down to Florida to train, which is weird, I know. Basically fell in love with a Quebecois ice dancer, and then moved back up to French Canada, moved up to Montreal. That, eventually sort of disintegrated, went the way that it would when you become adults. But what was so interesting about that journey with the figure skating is that I found a French Canadian partner, and we trained in a place called Boucherville, and on that ice, the people that you see now who are for ice dancing, Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, who are the national champions of Canada, and they placed 3rd. They got a wonderful bronze medal at this Olympics. It was really beautiful. I cried a lot watching this because I was like, "Oh my gosh." Her brother used to skate with my sister for a long time. So Piper used to train with my younger sister. So I went a certain way in ice dancing, and then one of my younger sisters, followed suit and took it even further. She was 6th in the US and eventually, kinda quit at a certain level, became other things, dentist, had a different life, but her journey through it, it's all sort of weirdly connected. The other thing that is sort of strange about knowing Piper and Paul, I don't know Paul as much, but Piper I do know, and, her sister and her brother Todd, who obviously skated with my sister, it's become kind of a really tight community because it's such a rarefied sport. So once
Mhm.
you they're like, chalk and baits, like, they used to compete against my sister Jane, and the coaches for chalk and baits were the people that I trained with on the rink when I was younger, so they're now world-class coaches. I'm gonna say the name in French, don't judge, but it's Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon. They are the coaches, and everybody trains in Montreal. So, the people that I used to train with are now, like, they're all Olympic, and I'm like, "Wow," it is so fascinating to watch them all, compete against each other in this really tiny community.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, like, but it's really special to watch and, kind of really I would say magical, but it's yeah, you just go, time is so funny, and
Yeah.
knowing what they've gone through to get to where they are now, to just it is inspiring. It's deeply like that kind of dedication. It just the work and the luck and all the things. You don't get injured, you have politics on your side, you keep going and going, and it somehow works out for you. Just all those things together is so amazing. So, yeah. Yay to me.
Yay. I mean, it just as you said, like it is interesting, like the paths that you take throughout life, because I'm trying to see, like, you still went to school for acting, right? Is that correct?
After the figure skating ended for me, and it ended in essentially an explosion of me finding out that I could not compete for Canada nationally. The paperwork hadn't come in time. I hadn't
Oh.
gone through the process quick enough. So I was on my way to nationals for Canada, and I found out that I was disqualified because we didn't have the proper paperwork to represent Canada because I
Hmm.
was coming from the States. And it was, like, the biggest heartbreak of my life. I honestly didn't think I'd get over it. I went back to school, tried to be a nurse for a year, and then within that, I found back an acting class at Concordia University, and in that acting class, I was like, oh my gosh, I could do theater, and it would be everything like, I was just it was like, "That's it. That's what I gotta do. It's gotta be acting," but specifically theater, going in, like, that very physical process, because that's what I'd come from the ice dancing, so it's all tied in there, and it's interesting because like, video games come shortly afterwards. They sorta came at the same time. I love vocal transformation, but it comes from a very physical place, as all voice acting is acting, and, but yeah, the figure skating was a huge part of that journey for me and is still why I pursued motion capture and performance capture, which led to some of my bigger roles, which ultimately has led to things like Zelda. It
Yeah.
it all sort of yeah, everybody's path is unique, and that was mine. So
Well, and so, was there anything specific that, like, you took from your time in skating to that wound up helping you with the
yeah,
acting? And yeah.
so many things. One is just the pure discipline and work ethic that it takes to get up early in the morning and pursue a sport where you're training at something for hours and days and it's grueling, and then you might have a few competitions in the year. So you have to enjoy the process of training, the process of dance and choreographing and creating these worlds on the ice long before you ever even get to compete. So it really is about the process. So going into acting, a lot of what you end up doing is rehearsal and auditions. There's a discipline to that too, and I think those things tie really well together. I think also somatically, when you're used to doing like, figure skating is really hard. I kind of look back and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's crazy. I don't know how I did all that stuff." And I look at the top athletes now and it's just nuts. But, you do gain a certain amount of body confidence knowing that you can flip over people's shoulders and be spun and then come down and hit music precisely. Those skills are it's all useful. Any sort of training that anybody does with another that you can cross over music and dance, it all is so useful for acting because it's about finding like, syncopating rhythms in your body so that you can contend with a bunch of things at once. Because that's kind of what acting is. It's like you're doing a character, but you also are tracking all these other things around you that you have to imagine, are happening, and then you have to be able to respond to them while also staying in character. And, it's a coordinated effort.
Yeah.
It's tricky. So, I took a lot of that, from the figure skating, I suppose.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just trying to, like, take it all in too, because I'm just like, where do I go from here? Uh, Actually, there's one thing that I wanted to ask. So you said you grew up in Michigan.
Yeah.
Can you show me on your hand where you grew up? Okay, so chat, and sorry, this is a very visual gag for my audio listeners, but so
Yeah,
apparently that was something I learned was that like if you grew up in Michigan, you can point at someplace in your hand
yeah.
and tell people where you grew up.
Or say, like, Detroit's, like, down there. This is the Mackinac Bridge. You have Southern Michigan, Northern Michigan, and Upper Michigan, which is 29% of the landmass of all of Michigan and has, like, I don't know, 15% of the population. It's a really rural place.
Yeah.
Lake Superior is up here. So I was up there in a very rural place, kind of, like, right up by Lake Superior. It's, beautiful, breathtaking, and not a lot going on. Pretty recessed area, a lot of it where I grew
Mhm.
up. All those things very informative for how one, tells stories later on. But a really stunning place.
And then just another Michigan question. So pop or soda?
Pop. And it wasn't until I moved to Florida it's so funny that you're bringing that up, I haven't thought about that in a long time, but it was pop. When I became a waitress in Florida when I was training for figure skating down there when I was, like, 18, and I was working at a restaurant called the Frostbites because it was in the
Ooh.
rink.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. That's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Would you like some pop?" And people were like, "What?" Like, over and over again, I was like, "Oh, I guess pop isn't, like, something that people are as familiar with down here." That's the only reason I know, but yeah, it was pop.
I mean, as a 5-year-old moving from West Coast to East Coast, it was weird that like half of like the hostess food snacks were called something completely different. And I had
Yeah,
no clue about that. Other than Twinkies, it was just like it was either ho-hos or ding dongs, and you didn't know which one to say.
yeah. As a
So
child, that can be devastating.
it's like I moved to all the way across the country. Everything's different. You call things weird?
Yeah, you call
I
yeah.
hate it here.
I
Yeah.
hate it here. I need a Twinkie. I made a
I
ding
I
dong.
need a chocodile. I really need one of those. Um so uh you get the call for Beowulf, you're feeling pretty hot about it, and then where do you go from there in terms of voice acting? Like what were you looking for at that point? Was it just like anything, or were you kind of like, okay, I did this, so now I should be able to do, XYZ?
Trying to think of the actual trajectory there. I did Beowulf and then I was also doing theater and stuff, so I was doing a lot of live theater at that time. I ended up going back to school, to do a master's of classical acting in London. I didn't wanna train back in the States because 'cause I'd come from the States and I knew it well, and I was like, "I wanna know what Europe is like if I'm gonna go back and spend all this money and invest." I'll tell you what had happened. This is kind of a little not T it's not even TMI, it's just the truth. I was doing a stage production of Hedda Gabler, which is a really tricky role. She, she dies by suicide at the end of her, I'm careful what I say online here and, like, what gets censored here, but basically that role, she ends her life at the end of the play. Really hard to play, complicated, whatever, and I was doing that over and over again, and I felt like it was making me sick, and I'm like, "If I'm gonna keep acting and I'm gonna keep doing drama, I need more training 'cause, this is not working, and I'm doing some version of what feels like might be method or something. Imagine it's bleeding into my life. I don't know how to work this." So I
Hmm.
went back to school because 'cause I'm like, it's all or none. I either go back to school and I train or I quit this because I don't wanna ruin my health. That's always been a big thing for me for a lot of different reasons. So I went back to school, and it was, I'd already done some games, went back to school, studied the classical acting, came back to Canada, and was like, "I'm not gonna go to the Globe, I'm not gonna go to Stratford, I'm not gonna pursue Shakespeare. I feel like this form is tricky. I love what I've learned from it, but I'm looking for something else."
Hmm.
And video games kept coming up for me, and I was like, "I would love to do motion capture, I would love to do those kinds of roles." And it was just becoming more out there, like, it was just becoming something as an actor that you could do, and so I started pitching I actually pitched my first jobs for Ubisoft. The first job I had for Ubisoft was Hope Jensen in Assassin's Creed Rogue, And before that, I'd sent videos, like, I'd sent videos of things like, I'm like, "Hi, my name is Patricia Summersett. I'm an actor, I'm classically trained, I can do things like catch food in my mouth," and I'd catch food in my mouth, and I'm like, "And this is my skating background, but, like, just know, like, I'm a great team player." I got, like, and I don't even know how many people actually saw those videos, but after a year or 2, I got called in to do an audition, and it was that, and I landed that one, and I was like, "Yeah," because it was full performance capture, so that kinda, like, cemented that was the beginning of a lot of roles that would then sort of lead to, I was still doing stage, but, like, lead to, like, a presence in video games, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and I guess like so you do the Beowulf. You're constantly thinking about video games. What was it about video games that was so alluring, other than maybe just like being able to do mocap and voice acting? What put the thought in your head of doing voice acting for video games specifically?
When I was at Concordia, there was a teacher of mine who had actually worked in video games, and I'd never seen that that was even a possibility, and my biggest breakthroughs as an actor had been they'd been when I changed myself vocally, and I found that I had a propensity to do it. My first character was an old woman. So back in school, I did something called the Duchess of York. This is my first acting training program, and it was a big leap. They put a mask on me, and I did this character, and she spoke like this. She was a low voiced, and I would hobble around with a mask on my face. And the people who came to watch that performance thought that I was like 60 or 70 underneath the performance. They didn't realize I was 20, 23 or whatever. So I was really moved by that, and also loved transforming, like, loved playing with my vocal cords, and I was like, "I just have to find a way to do this kind of work. This seems to be where it's at." And video games were offering what I felt to be just this incredibly interesting worldwide storytelling. It's where all the innovation was happening, and I'm like, if you're looking for a live form that's reaching people right now, it's in video games. So that's the kind of storytelling that I'd like to be part of. It just seems really broad and interesting and full of all these possibilities and newness, and it is. And it is, and it
Surprising.
continues to be. It's incredible how fast it evolves and the technologies that we use evolve. And there is something I'll just add to that, there's something about working in video games as somebody who I'm not somebody who, like, sits there and loves to pick up tech. I'm very much like I'll be on screens and things, but I have my limits for it. I love to play, I'll get really immersed, and then I need breaks because I grew up in the woods and I go back to those places for when I feel peaceful. But there's something about working in video games, in the human element of video games, where you get to put tech on you and you get to breathe life in. You get to work alongside this incredible technology with people who are all trying to figure it out. And it's sort of like a melding of things that it makes me less afraid of tech. You can see how it combines with the human element. And as long as that's the case, I love it. If you start replacing people all with tech, then we have a problem because we all need people. We all need that element of it. It's why otherwise there are no stakes, I think.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's a lot of different ways to do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be with actors all the time, obviously, but uh, it's a really fascinating part of the industry that it's such a fascinating way of interacting with technology, the way that they can do that now in video games. And
Yeah.
every given year, it's like, yeah, the progressions are huge. So, mm.
I mean, it is very interesting, and I mean, especially you're in a space where there's a lot of like love from the fans, and that can go in any kind of different directions. So like video games, are definitely an interesting spot to be in. But you've also done TV. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say is that
Done
correct, but
TV.
I looked. I know. I had to put a joke in there at some point, but yeah, no. So what what are the big different? Obviously, besides the obvious, what are some of the big differences that you've experienced through stage, TV, and video games? And like, where do you think the pros and cons are for each?
I would say Obviously, underneath everything, for sure, you're gonna have a similar process going in where you're channeling a character into these different, kinda genres, and it's also, like, it's so hard to because you could have a you could have TV that looks and feels more like film, or you could have TV that's like theater, you could have single cam versus multicam, you could have video games that are done full performance capture, or you could be doing dubs like Zelda, or you could be ad-libbing, and that's what you get to do in the game, or you are, like, tight on the script. I mean, you just have to be as versatile as possible. It's kind of awesome to be able to jump back and forth. It took me a while to get used to the genres. I used to be way bigger. It took me a while to get used to TV where you have to essentially the difference being maybe the way that you channel energy through your body. So you might be channeling it in theater, you can't be too small. You have to always have a real stream coming out of you, and it's big, and you might be projecting to the back of a theater, and it is a different muscle, but you're channeling from here. For film, you're sort of it tends to be more here, and you're channeling through your eyes more. So it's less about what you say and more about, because if you're doing too much here, you're sort of done. You've gotta channel the energy through your sort of through your eyes, and the work inside is the same, but where it goes is different. And then video games, like, again, if you're doing just voice work, a lot of voice actors are all over the place to try to find where they're gonna channel their voice. They're physicalizing all sorts of things through their voice. And then there's a lot of variation in that too. So, I would say, it's the difference, it's like here, or here, where you're ultimately sort of focused, but it's all gotta be it is full body all the time,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Uh,
Does that make sense?
I
Like, I
so
like
I liked what you were doing with like the where the energy is coming from, and I kind of understand that from I watch TV,
mm,
but yeah, it's very much just like the environments are different, right? You're in one, you're on a stage, one you're on a sound stage, one you could be in the middle of the woods, or you could just be on another stage with
yeah,
TV,
yeah,
and there are just so many different things, but you have to handle them differently.
yeah,
And whereas, especially when you're talking about the roles that you've played where you've done dubbing and you're just primarily doing the voice work, even then there can be some physicality in that. Is that,
totally,
yeah,
totally. I've said it to people before, but, like, people say, "How do you record, a character like Zelda?" I I have to do some physical things, like, I have to warm up a certain way, warm up my register a certain way, because obviously she doesn't sound like this, "She sits up here, and this is a really fragile place in your voice to sit, and even further up when she's getting excited." I'm not gonna speak like that naturally, and I can sort of do it sitting down a little bit, but if I'm gonna be sustaining that for hours during a session, I need to warm that up properly, and then I'm gonna stand different, bring my
yeah,
center of energy up, open up my face and my heart and all these things to, like, keep it lifted so
yeah,
that I'm just, like, more open and available and have a different essence of that character. But that work is quite physical, and then there's that weird thing of, like, tracking the lip flaps at the same time, it's just like you're like, "Ugh." It's such an odd job, but yeah, I know,
well,
physicality is key.
I should probably talk about Zelda. I think a lot of people in chat are expecting me to talk about Rainbow Six. But so I mean, both of those roles, you've done them for a very long time. Zelda just comes with the additional weight of this is a character who has existed for like 30 some odd years up to that point,
Mhm.
and besides some things here and there, never really had a voice. And
Right.
so you are like the first, you're in that upper echelon of like people like Charles Martinet, who, you know, there have been other voices for Mario for sure, including a pro wrestler, but like he is the first Mario.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, does that come with a lot of weight? And how do you feel with that?
In the description of the first audition, there was the talk of the pressure on that character and the weight of the world on her shoulders, and I think inherently in recording something like that, that's iconic. you're naturally gonna feel pressure. It'd be so weird if you didn't. I mean, I of course it does come with a weight, but it's not like you wanna sit there and be too self-important either. You know, the character is invented by hundreds of people. It's somebody else's IP. Each time you go in to record it, it's not really up to you. You're bringing your essence, you're bringing what they cast you for, but it is created by multiple people in the room. All the decisions are, they're signed off on. The script, everything about it it's like a group effort. So when you look at that character, you can think a group made that.
Yeah.
It's like
It's not
really
just
a
on
wild
me.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not just on me. Um, and I don't know why I get to have the sort of accolades, I'll take it. It's like the best thing ever. I get to see all the cosplay, the stories, the tattoos, hear people hold baby Zeldas, like, it's the best. Um, but yeah, and with that comes a feeling of responsibility. So a feeling of weight, at least in that it really has actually changed my life. It's made me see things that I never would have otherwise seen or pursued. I've traveled the world because of it and differently than I would have otherwise. That comes with a kind of responsibility. Like when somebody calls you a first voice, you go to certain countries and people look at you like maybe a lot of women don't get a chance, or people in general don't get a chance to do this kind of thing at all. Like it's so privileged to get a chance to do this thing. Of course, that comes with a weight, but again, it also comes with that understanding, like, right now I'm representing a symbol, it's not all about me, it really isn't, so you split the difference and, don't get too high and mighty, or you will get thrown off that pedestal really fast, I'll tell
Yeah.
you.
I can only imagine. Did you talk to any other like voice actors or actresses who kind of had a similar, like especially as after, Breath of the Wild, you're recognized? Did you have like an opportunity to talk to other people within the voice acting community to just be like, how did you deal with this?
I mean, I've spoken with people who have been celebrities in certain rights. I met more of them on the journey while it had already happened.
Hmm.
It's funny because you think when you see an actor going through this, a lot of people assume that you have this big support group around you. You don't. You're just an actor who suddenly you might have agents who are helping you out, but actually agents can also filter things for you, which is really important and great if you are lucky. But a lot of it is just you sort of like taking it on and sort of going with it. Any mentorship would be nice. I and
That's a
even
good
like
idea, actually.
yeah,
Why didn't I think of that? Talk to
I'd
people.
I'd be happy to provide that for people if they asked, and something like this happened for them. I could share my experience because it was, there was a rocky part to that road too. You start to do a whole lot of one thing and travel, and a lot of other parts of your life sort of go out the window, and the proportions of everything change, and people look at you a little differently in circles that you otherwise were just like, and you still are equal, but then people will call you by your character name instead of your name, and you're sort of like you're sort of asked to blend things in a way that you're not used to. So that's interesting. I mean, I'd say there's a lot more solace now. My partner in life has gone through a very similar thing and contends with that too, with a character that's iconic. Roger Craig Smith. He voices Sonic, and so we weirdly kind of met through that space and met as friends and have had very similar trajectories in terms of, like, you're voicing this character that comes out of Japan. It's got a bunch of iterations to it, but you are sort of attached to it for a very long time,
Yeah.
and a lot of families come up to you and you'll have an experience with them in that realm, and it's, like, so specific. And what do you make of it, you know? How are you graceful through that, and how can you make the best of it and also give other people the best experience too, and, um, yeah, and that's even just aside from, like, just doing the role and hoping to get the next iteration of the role and
Yeah.
get the next game, and so, I don't know, I mean, it's been a fascinating decade, I'll tell you. Like, there was the very clear before and after this
Yeah.
role.
Wow. I do want to talk a little bit about your band. I know we're kind of running up on time, but I wanted to include it.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
can you talk about it a little bit? And anybody who's on the YouTube page right now, you can check the website out in the description below. But can you talk about it a little bit? Like what is it? What are the inspirations behind it? Why'd you do it?
Music is in my family. I have a sister who's an opera singer and another who's a folk singer, and when we're all 4 together, because 'cause we're 4 girls, we collaborate when we can. But voice acting and the music kinda went hand in hand. There is a very special person in my life named Nick. We'd previously dated, but for a long time have just been friends and creative partners. We found that we were just incredible creative partners, and so continued that into basically making a band and forming sort of an indie folk band, which stemmed from our theater experience and all these other things that we had tried in terms of making kind of whatever sort of art we wanted to. Um, I would call it very therapeutic because you get to make your own work. It's also great exercise to get up and sing anything, but especially original tunes. And there's kind of nothing like making music with people, especially if you get to work with jazz and classical musicians. And 2 of the other people in that band are also actors, they're voice actors, so they've done some other really cool projects too. I'm trying to think of what video games they would be known for. They've definitely done animation, and a ton of video games. Eric Davies has done tons with me, and Holly has actually directed some Ubisoft games now, but she is a prolific voice actor, and they're both musicians, so you just have, like, so much fun with this group of people. It was kind of born out of that. It was born in Montreal, with a bunch of people that wanted to just get together and start making original music that didn't have to be anything, that didn't have to be commercial, so and we sort of toured a little bit. The last album we did was 2023, and we are still working on new stuff, but it's very slow because I am literally splitting my time between Montreal, Idaho, and LA, plus conventions, so I never stop traveling. I just never stop traveling, and that's a little chaos. So we work when we can, and it's always deeply refreshing. So hopefully next year we'll come up with another EP. That would be so great.
Yeah.
We've been writing on the theme of opulence. That's one of the things that we've been doing. So hopefully we'll pop out with some songs. We've got a lot of like half drafts going on right now.
Mhm.
So yeah. Does that
Yeah.
answer your question about that? I mean, like, yeah,
I
it's
mean, so
Summersett Band. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the Summersett. So yeah, it did. I just feel bad because I just feel like there's so many different things that I could easily ask you and like get into details in, but we only have so much time. Hopefully you enjoyed
Do it again
this.
yeah, we can do it again sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I
It's
can ask you more questions and then ask some of the same ones because I forgot that I asked them before.
I
Um,
love that, and I can ask you questions because I didn't ask much of you too, it's always good to have back and forth.
yeah.
I'm always like, "Blah, blah, blah," during these things,
Well,
and
the point is that I talk to people and then they talk to me by saying the response to the question that I had.
I know, it's just for me to talk at you, and
Oh.
that's my job as an actor, so
Okay. All right. You
okay.
don't have to act so hoity-toity. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's called a callback, everyone. My podcast listeners have no clue what just happened. The
Yeah,
Queen's
no.
Wave, everybody. Just
Yeah,
just do that in your
we
car.
call it we call it the snake charmer. That's,
Oh yeah. Get that
the
Wi-Fi.
yeah, right, the
Oh,
Wi-Fi. Yeah. Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
right. It
All
hi,
right.
Patricia. Hi, guys. Nice to meet you.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Yeah, I know. What is that?
Voice acting. That's what
Yeah.
it is. You did it.
See.
Nailed it. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really enjoyed being able to just kind of like I really had no idea how this was gonna go. I kind of say that every episode, but like I really had no idea how this was gonna go.
oh, good.
But
Isn't that the point?
look, it was
Uh,
supposed to, it's a jam session, but just talking. Yeah.
wow.
We just did a whole hour of
We're
small talk.
jazzing is
We're
essentially what yeah.
That's not what they call it in Star Wars. Um, hey, that brings us to the end of this month's episode. Just want to say thank you again for being here on the podcast with me. Where can people find you? What are you doing? What's next for Patricia? Where can we
Right
find
here.
you? Right.
patriciasummersett.com is my website. I'm on socials, but I'd say I'm gonna post everything I'm doing on Instagram and then maybe kind of disseminate it out from there, but, like, mostly just I'm keeping it fairly minimal these days. Instagram and my website, that's where you're gonna find all the official stuff. So at Summersett underscore, right. That's
I
and
definitely
there's
can
yeah,
appreciate that sentiment. There is
yeah.
there is an underscore. I mean, if you search Patricia Summersett, you'll find them.
Yeah. The shitification of the internet is real. It is. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It can be exhausting. So
notice I never told you about my Twitter because I don't use it anymore.
Oh, good for you. I mean, yeah, I can see why. I can absolutely understand that.
As for me, remember, if you want to help support the content, just like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel for free, where you can see the podcast live with video, including exclusive Q&A session for those of you who tune in early. Look, if you want to help financially support us, I'm not going to stop you. You can be a member starting for just $3 a month. Earns you some cool emotes that you can use here on this channel. Plus, you get a special role in our Discord server where you can access exclusive channels and help shape future streams, future content. I've been talking to people, getting their opinions. Sometimes I've ignored them, and sometimes they're good opinions. So just, it works. The system works. Look, if you want to leave us a comment down below, let us know where. Can you point to where you live on your hand, chat? Can you do it? Tell me where. In text form. But look, if you prefer to listen to the audio version, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a good rating. Leave us a good review. That'll help me. It helps my ego. It'll help Patricia too.
It'll help me. It'll help me too. Thank you. Yeah,
she'll know.
I will.
I'll send her a picture every time it gets a like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send magic after you if you don't. So, because anyway, blah,
That's
blah,
true.
blah.
That's true. Look, this has been a fantastic 9th episode of Good Luck, Have Fun. The audio version of this podcast was edited by Motion Dan. Popsky did the intro. Patricia has been our month's guest, and I have been your host, Landry Boy Roo LP.
Chupa Chew.
Yeah, we're just adding stuff to it now, aren't we? Look, I'm saying good night, everybody. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Lovely.